Good morning. How are we all going? We all good this morning? Well, that's fantastic. This one's called No Women in Men's Sports. Okay. Now that we have a firm precedent of outrage of men in women's sports, perhaps now is the time to look back and to see if perhaps the opposite was true beforehand. Whether there may have been women competing in men's sports, beforehand. Okay? This is going to be an exposure of things that you might not have thought of. Number one is that our political system would indeed best be described as sport. It is sporting. In the English language, it is considered a sport. Now, the reason for this is because it is the same. It is a simulated act of aggression held in a contained and controllable environment. So, it's a sport. Just like we decide all types of things with sport now. We you can work your way through as a sportsman and you can get social status and you can get financial recognition. You can put your whole family through university or through college with a sport. And so we'll see here that the sportsmen, the professional sportsmen, they have been imitating politicians, but they're politicians from a pre-existing era. Now, the reason you may have a what was that little girl's name that wanted to swim with all the girls? I can't remember what her name was, but the outrage came from the fact that she won. She beat all those girls by like a pool length. Okay, so she was at the end of the race. Leah Thomas, right? She swum her little heart out, but she beat all the biological girls by quite a distance. Now, this is in a short race. This is a short race of a swimming pool. Okay, we have a firing pistol, we have a swimming race. And so a pool length is a significant amount to win a race by, held in the confinement of a designated distance of elite swimming. Now, in the political, we have a whole bunch of different circumstances that lead to different results. Okay, so there isn't a designated finish line or a designated distance. There is a desired result, and the desired result is in a different case from just a swimming race. The desired result, politically is supposed to represent your constituency's desires within, a hopeful, period of time that they are desiring some type of change or some type of defense of something that's going on. So immediately, okay, men cannot be represented by women within a parliamentary system, not appropriately, because my assumption is that just like Leah Thomas won by a pool length, we have a similar thing going on with the introduction of women into the men's sport of politics. Okay, this is the first instance of this type of thing, and it happened on the other side of the fence. And so that we have a situation here. We're completely happy as if you want to call us trans individual, whatever you want to call us, we're completely happy to not compete in women's sports just as soon as all the women get out of our political system. You know what I mean? Because they have polluted it with their panty liners. They have polluted it with their mascara. They have polluted it with their pandering towards women. And and it just doesn't work. Okay, this is why it's like we have had an incredible job done in women's. See, they call it equality, but it's not equality, in women's supremacy across the world, especially, and it really is especially white women's supremacy. And this is because it is a new thing. It's like, imagine the outrage there would be if I said tomorrow, I worked my way up through the American political system, and I said, Joe Rogan, Dana White, okay, you're allowed to have UFC, but the men have to fight in dresses and they're not allowed to swear. Okay, they're not allowed to swear, right? And they have to abide by a strict Christian ethics system. So they are only allowed to hit the person if they are hit, and then there's an intimate, broke down negotiation process. There is like 3 levels of adjudication to make sure that this is held in the verbal and in the passive, and that this is kind of adjudicated in like a standing. So immediately there, we're going to assume that there will be no more fighting with fists. Okay, we're going to project imaginarily. We're going to, through this process, this is the only legal way that UFC can continue, by the way. And so we are going to push in, and eventually we're going to resolve to 2 individuals having what you could describe as an argument. Okay, kind of adjudicated by a few different teams, and perhaps somebody like a speaker that speaks to the rest of the people in the room, and then a decision is made via this parliamentary process. Okay, now that is actually kind of the way that the parliament was formed. And so the introduction of women has not been appropriately reflected upon. It's like I will say that my intention at the end of the day is to establish a female parliament and a male parliament, and then a parliament that works on between them. But they need to be clearly defined. So you can imagine if there was, like, because people play in tennis, that people play like mixed doubles. Okay, mixed doubles is fine because it is predetermined that it is mixed doubles. Okay, there is a man and a woman playing tennis on the thing against a man and a woman. So that already exists. Now you can imagine a UFC where they had mixed doubles. So you get a woman and a man that fight a woman and a man. Okay, that would be okay. But what the problem is if you have in the background, if you have 10 women fighting a man in the political sphere, okay, you are drastically limiting the man's capacity to defend or to try and forge forward to defend his constituency, because immediately 50% of his constituency is going to be female. And, if a significant amount of females oppose him, using female rhetoric and logic, okay, that is like a bar that you can't reach. So the assumption is that if men have a physical advantage in conflict, in violent conflict with women, well, my rebuttal to that would be that, well, women have a significant societal advantage over men. Okay? Now, this is why we have our politicians. We've been all lulled into a sense that politicians are ridiculous people and they are to be ridiculed and disrespected and all these things and not trusted and all this. Now, isn't that a funny thing to put on your potential savior? If you have a minority or a point of view that you want to, you not even want, you need to claim this, and you need to battle to receive this recognition for your political aim. Your life depends on it. Your family's life depends on it. It is a strange thing to be like, well, I'm going to vote for one of two donkeys. Okay, that is a system that doesn't make sense. If you were like we tell movies like Armageddon, where we send the best of the best into space to do want. That's what politics is, and that's especially what politics is when you're participating in a developed male sport flooded with women. Do you understand? Like, this is the original case of this. Now, I love women, okay, but I just think they should have their own parliament, and then the world can see what a female parliament is. And then that will immediately click. You'll be like, oh, right. The women have been using women techniques in a male sport. Okay? Like, that immediately is not going to ever work. And so we're here. And it's really obvious. If you look at like all the things that are going on, all the like gender stuff, all the things that are going on with gender, like around the world, it's obviously because men are trying to compete in their sport, and their sport has been filled with women. Okay, and so the men are going to have to adapt into women. Now, we can have either way. I can get way better at this. I could get way better at this. But it doesn't fix the problem. It's like we need men to deal with the problems of men. Because women's problems with men will just result as like the men are shit. The men are shit. Like that's the men are shit. Let's get new men. That's what women do. Okay. That like we can't. It's actually, and it's like so do men. So men do that as well. But there's been no recognition of this, and there's also no recognition that our parliamentary system is one of the greatest examples of non-violent communication. So it's like there are women like trying to forge this new hate speech, misogyny, discriminatory racism, all these things. It's like those things are crucial to maintain the non-violent political process. And so there's two things. It's like Parliament was transparent to anyone who went and attended Parliament. And so there's no doubt that there was language, there was violence, there was threats, there was aggression, there was, everything that you'd see in a like a pre-match standoff between two fighters. It's like that's perpetually what Parliament was, and then there's groups. So the two things, we introduce women. Now men will act differently in front of women. So even if you don't want to address the fact that women are using techniques that pander to women and that far outweigh the potential of men's abilities within a unisex environment. Okay. Now this will be like the simplest test to do is to go to a crowded nightclub and have a woman and a man talking, right? Now have the woman hysterically start accusing the man of violence, and then have the man start accusing the woman of violence, and see what happens. See what the dynamics are in that environment. That is a pretty easy test to do to see whether women perhaps have been using their political introduction and their political and their biased advantage to the favor of all women collectively, which will inevitably lead to the degradation of all men. Then if we apply the same logic, that it's like, well, then the men are responsible for the majority of key crucial professions and oversight, and the women are trying to replace them. So when you introduce divorce and you normalize divorce in the mindset of women, you fight for divorce rights. This flows on. Divorce is being fired. You know what I mean? This is like, if you want to understand Donald Trump, it's like he's sitting there saying, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. That's women's influence onto him, projecting that the solution is obviously to fire everybody. It's that simple. That's what Elon Musk is always like, I'm going to come in and fire all these people. Yeah, that's divorce. That's what mass divorce leads to. It's like, we're just going to continue to fire everyone. Obviously there is a better man for the job. Now, the problem is that there isn't. Some of these professions and oversight positions require like decades and decades, and they might be the only person that received the knowledge from the person before. It's not a job at fucking McDonald's. You can't just fire them. They're connected to the longevity. They're connected to the foundation of the thing through this verbal, transmission service from person to person, from person to person, from person. This is what the patriarchal system is as well. This is what father to son is. Father to son, to father to son, to father to son. And before you say, well, that's the same on the matriarchal, women do that as well. You go, yeah, well, women didn't have divorce as their solution. That's an experiment only able to exist through introducing women to parliament and them not respecting the bounds of it and them literally changing the environment. So the thing is, like, you can immediately assume as soon as women started entering parliament, men started acting differently in parliament because they were trying to fuck the women, or they were trying to fuck the woman's friends, or they were trying to, they didn't. There might, more than likely, there were things being said and spoken about and going on in parliaments all around the world that, that would have destroyed the reputation of that man. So it's like, well, that's immediately a life or death decision. Either you adjust your behavior, or you're ridiculed and you lose all your breeding rights with, because the women start hearing about what you were saying about them. That's all it takes. But women don't have this. Women, as a rule, all criticize men all the time, publicly and never-endingly, because they're in a position to choose. They're like, oh, these men are shit. I've got a good one. That's basically their status. Like, they're born, from these days, they're born, the nurse sits there and says, all men are shit. You better get a good one. It's a race to the finish line. So then all women are competing on if they got a good man. And then there's other ones that kind of like, I don't need a man. But then the ones that have a man are like, she doesn't have a man. It's fucking ridiculous. And I am not bestowed with the patience or the mentality to lower my political stance to accept all of that fucking bullshit. Okay, all I want is the basics. I want every man and woman of every ethnicity, every race to be able to purchase a property and to be left the fuck alone by our political system. Unless there is something, there is whatever. I want them to think that their vote can go to a person that does fully represent their political stance, not to because this is what it is. It's like we've got Women's Day and New Idea in our political system. That's it. So you go to the shelf and you're like, I'll just go to the Women's Day things, or Women's Weekly and Women's Day, or Women's Weekly, Women's Day and New Idea. That's it. We don't have Jugs anymore, and Jugs was an important magazine to have. It's like we don't have. We don't have hunting and shooting anymore. We've just got Women's Weekly and New Idea. And women instinctively, they are drawn towards safe and stable and secure environments that they can slowly just work out some type of hen pecking order to elevate their own status within, because traditionally women stayed in the tribe, they stayed in the village, and the men went out to war. Now, Parliament is a combination of men that are domestically fighting for the rights and defence and security of the people thing, and also the people that are looking externally. And those men should be talking to each other without women present, so that we don't expose the women who are safe in the village, right? And this is the problem. Women turned it into the house. They're prisoners in the house. Well, it's like, all right, you were prisoners in the house, kind of, even though you weren't. But then before that, you were just prisoners to the tribe and perhaps prisoners to the village or the town. That's for your own benefit. Mainly because the responsibility that you take on board if you leave the town as a woman with the full weight of responsibility, because women know things, right? So this is the problem. If a woman left the fucking town and this happened, or the tribe, and went to another tribe or another town and said, this is where all the tunnels are to get in the fucking town, that's bad. That's bad. These are things that would be like, say that was happening in a male parliament, there would be like, I think that woman there is getting ready to leave and tell the fucking thing. And then she would be dealt with, probably by other women. It's the same with men. But the women's equality, it's like, we aren't going to be prisoners in our households or our towns or our tribes. We're going to be globe-trotting fucking online porn stars. We're going to be globe-trotting online porn stars. And it's like, we're all just like, what the actual fuck? How the fuck do we wheel this in? I don't think like global online porn stars is the same as if I go, like, if women have the right to be global online porn stars, projecting from my location, knowing all the exits, knowing where all the tunnels are, knowing all the insecurities and all the fucking, the openings in our defense, like knowing everything, the intricacies of everything, all our languages, all our customs, all our secret fucking everything. So they know that, and now they're all global fucking online porn stars, conditioning into a marketplace of an ever-increasing lowering, like hyperinflation sexual marketplace. And then once you're already selling sex, selling secret, well, now you're a respectable lady. If you're not selling sex anymore, you're just selling secrets. You know what I mean? And there's no order. So there's no doubt, if you're in a parliamentary system and you were caught as a man giving secrets to someone else and doing this thing, the men would beat you. They would physically beat you. Yes, Parliament was a non-violent verbal communication, but if you broke the laws of Parliament, and this is the thing, they weren't written down. They're the laws of men. Oh, he's broken the laws of men. And all the men would be like, he has broken the laws of men. And all the men knew the laws of men, so they all knew, and they all knew what to do, and then they would do that. But when a woman does it, and when the woman does it from a public position where she doesn't just get dealt with by the men's, internal men thing, the woman then says, I did break the rules. We are all going to break the rules, and we should have the right to break them whenever we fucking want, because we are women. And it's like that, at that point, if your intention is to protect civilization, protect order and security, and those people are a different species, right? Those people are breeding, and they are going externally. They are colonizing the world and bringing this little multicultural fucking melting pot back like a cauldron. And there is no way to stop it, because our civilizations relied on these control groups. Like we needed to have. It's like if you were white, and this is the craziest thing because it exists whatever color. If you're a white woman and you lived in a place where there were majoritively white people, it was in your best interest that your political system, revolved around a bunch of white men making decisions about white people. Okay? Now I'm not saying that has to be the full way, but it's like that's the door that we came in. Okay? And the problem is that door continuously keeps being called racist, despite the fact that all races and all ethnicities do the exact same thing. But all I'm saying is that the door we came in was a door filled, behind the door was a room filled with men of the same race and religion, roughly. And we have a long history of having, intimate, really high level arguments between like little intricate details of our culture and things like that, like the Protestants and the Catholics. It's like that's a way smaller issue than radically different cultural, inclusions. So the problem is it's like we came through that door and then someone let a bunch of women in that door that aren't very good at reading the room, that aren't very good at understanding the true reality of the precedent, that are radically optimistic. And this is the thing, it's like radical optimism, okay? If you're a woman in politics and you're projecting this radical optimist, worldview, and you lock your door at night, you are a hypocrite. You are completely, hypocritically aligned with the world if you lock your car. If you rely on any level of security, then you are a hypocrite to your system. It's like that we don't need that. So the problem is we have a bunch of women, because the status of women, now that their husband thing is gone, because it was just their husband. This was how it worked. It's like women's status was regulated by their husband. Who's she married to? Oh my God, have you heard this? That's the thing. And then our system was governed by a parliamentary process, which was men. So that kept everything in check. You know what I mean? There was still all the things like you could still get divorced and do all this shit, and then you're playing a woman's game. So you could still rebel. You could be like, I don't want a husband. I'm going to be a lesbian. Okay. And then you would have this like social status, this alternative social status as a lesbian. And that's a woman's issue. I don't care. Every man loves lesbians. I'm not like triggered or offended in the same level that women are, especially women that have husbands. And it's the same with divorce. It's like, she got divorced, that little harlot. She's going to come and steal my husband. Okay, so that's the same. I don't care. I love little harlots that come and try and steal me away from my wife. It's not the same issue. It's a woman's issue, okay? Now, this is the problem. If we had transparent parliament right now that was purely women, this is what you'd see. It would go there instantly. And already within our system, it's starting to, but our system is retarding this because we're trying to hold the previous model. But we can't. We can't do it. We basically need to split our parliament into men and women and then have individual things and then have a woman and man parliament. And this is the reason for this instantly is because then the women will do what women have always done. They will bring to Parliament what they need to bring, and they will keep secret all the things that they want to keep secret within a female community, which they already do. And they are already doing that. And then men will do the same, and then we will be able to fucking coexist. Because we don't know. It's like men dealing with other ethnicities. We've been doing that for a long time out on the outskirts. So if the cry from our women was to defend us and create a safe, secure place, we did that. We did that. Women wanted to experience the world, so now they have. Right? They've done all these things. Men have been rubbing up against each other and they have war. This is what these wars are. They're men in conflict, have war. Women in conflict, we don't know, but the systems aren't built properly because there's too many basically the vibe is off for the required result. Because a lot of the cultural issues to do with societal organization, they're majoritively women issues. But the problem is, it's like we have women combating other women being defended by men. Okay, we can't have that in our multicultural system. All women who enter the female parliament are on equal terms, no matter what religion, ethnicity, marriage status, sex, gender, or sexual proclivity, whatever the fuck it is. They're women combating women. Now they should be protected by men to be allowed to have the conversation, not their individual opinions being protected by men. Right, which is what happens in our parliament. And then we have this equality myth where women are supposed to come out and combat men and armies of men, despite the fact that is so massively not the norm. There are outliers, but it basically puts, any woman trying to be a politician in our system now has to be Joan of Arc, which is dumb. It is dumb. I'm not saying that, Joan of Arc is good. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if we had a little Joan of Arc fucking ride out and start doing something. But that's not a good way to build a system. Whereas if you have a female parliamentary system where women are combating women protected by a security, and this way it's like if one of the woman's husbands fucking threatens the woman or does some shit, or some group fucking does some shit that's heavy-handed, the women get to decide. You're not allowed to do that. This is where all the hate speech, you swore, you did this, any of those things in the women's parliament, if you want to interact with the women's parliament, then you're subject to their rules and conditions. Okay? And this is the thing. It's imagine you took a female politician and she set the rules for a UFC fight. And one of them was her children. And the other one was like, you know what I mean? They're going to be like, no, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do this. You have to just shake hands and fucking whatever. And it's like, okay, that is a strategy. It's not a strategy to provide the men with what they are desiring. They want to see who's going to win this physical battle. And I think our politics is exactly the same. We don't just want to. The men of the world need to get absolute results from our political system. And when they're two men having radically opposing ideologies are in there, then they need to use the full length and breadth of their fucking capacity to achieve that unquestionable result, which will be unquestionable from both men and women. And then the women can decide. You're like, well, this was the result of the male parliament. Then you put it to the female parliament and the women go, he won. He won. Yes, he won that argument. He won that conflict. He won that discussion. He won that fucking point. But you can't have it mixed because it just doesn't work. Because then I have to play by women's rules, but then reap the consequences of male certainty, which means sending my sons or myself to foreign lands to fight wars with fucking robots. Do you know what I mean? And the women are just like, we're just going to get on our dating apps and fucking sell our cunts on the internet. Like, that's already what is naturally occurring, right? We are looking at a global, international world war where all the men are killed by robots and all the women become digital sex entrepreneurs. Like, that in its very nature is unquestionably the result of having a mixed parliament. We've got a mixed parliament and we're combating totalitarian dictatorships. You know what I mean? It's like literally like this is the scene. It's like, right, Shannon, you and your sons and all your mates' sons and all your cousins' sons, right? And all your schoolmates' sons and everyone, you're going to get in a ship and go and fight a war in the desert against fucking Chinese robots, okay? And this is like, zoom back to China. There's some little fucking autistic Chinaman sitting there with a fucking remote control like this, perusing the OnlyFans of our fucking women, of our next door neighbors. Intermittently, like, I'll kill a fucking Aussie and then I'll fucking, I'll then fucking download some fucking OnlyFans. That's the inevitable result. Unless the male parliament can look at the female parliament and go, all you fucking cunts are fucked. With the full force of thousands of years of parliamentary process. You have come in and fucked our whole system, and you do not feel the cost of it. You've already been conditioned into abortion. It's not much different to send your 18-year-old off, because 18-year-olds are a lot less friendly to the senses. They're like, mothers hate their 18-year-olds far more than they hate their little babies, which they're already being normalized into killing. That's a system of infiltration that you cannot match. It's like, how the fuck do you match that in the world? You know what I mean? And you're just not going to get the result. It's like, for every fucking condition that women put in our parliamentary system that result in this inevitable fucking Terminator slash fucking Porky's episode, Terminator slash fucking Desperate Housewives, we're going to demolish a fucking school after hours, of course, right? So it's like all the kids go home, they all sit there and watch their Netflix and their YouTube and then play their Roblox while their mum looks at fucking Tinder and Bumble. Mum, this man is talking to me on the internet. It's like, my mummy talks to men on the internet, and so do I. I'm playing Roblox. Just like my mummy. And then next morning they'll go to school, and the school won't be there. It'll be like crop circles. They'll be like, there was a school there, wasn't there? Was there a school there yesterday? I don't know. I was talking to Fernando on the internet. He says that he is a dentist and that he is very well off, and he lives in a foreign land, and he's been thinking about relocating to Australia. So I think that might be. But darling, wasn't there a school there? Wasn't there a school there yesterday? Maybe that guy on the internet really has started. He started, actually cashing the checks that he's been writing all this time. Like, we just thought he was lying. We thought that him, exposing the fact that we're luring our children into some type of digital fucking hypnosis war bride fucking en masse by flirtatiously fucking perusing the globe for our potential suitors, I mean, that would take a man, wouldn't it? It would take a man to declare that Parliament should only have men in it. And that we should have our own female parliament. Well, we're having a female parliament right here, right now, the fucking school drop-off. And the fact that the school isn't here, though, we would discuss that. Exhibit 1, first off the rank. There's no school there. There was a school, and now there isn't a school there anymore. Like, that's... And then they'd fucking minutiae that out. They wouldn't be like, oh, okay, yes, we have demands, we have a clear thing. He didn't hurt anyone, he just destroyed a school, and now our daycare centre that we send our kid to doesn't exist. You know what I mean? This is a problem. Okay, if we understand all the delicate things at play. So we are dealing with, say, a Chinese culture that is holding onto its thing, and it's holding onto its ancient, very authoritarian culture anyway. And then it's at another level because it's doing communism. and it won that communism with brute force. Brute force. That's the exact opposite to that. You know, it's like women, little girls, imitate their mothers. So when their mothers are no longer doing the ironing. Now, this is again, they don't have to be doing the ironing, but they were. They were doing the ironing. They were doing the dishes. They were fucking sweeping the floor. They were keeping a house, okay, which is important. And this is the funny, it's like all the people that have rejected keeping a house are going to be the ones that are going to find it very difficult to keep their house within this system. I'm a housekeeper, and it's like, we don't have a bunch of housekeepers. We have a bunch of house losers that are training their daughters to be house losers. You know what I mean? So then the collective house, our country, we lose. It's not fucking rocket science. You cannot train your daughters to be fucking prostitutes en masse. Like, that is what is happening. Now it's like, what am I doing? Well, I have to present as a woman online to be a politician, to present my parliamentary objection to the whole concept of a female introduced parliament, so that I can pry it apart with a fucking crowbar, put 1,000 cameras on those cunts, and listen to them fucking bicker, and listen to the truth bubble out. Listen to all of it. No constraints, no hiding behind little fucking social creations, right? It's all just out there. And it's going to result, there is a bunch of ethno-fucking diverse women representing their ethno-diverse men who are killing each other and preparing to kill everyone in a global, uncontrollable fucking world war that has no fucking rules. No rules at all. Now, the problem when you have a global war that has no rules, right? That's known by the men. So the women are organizing a global war that has no rules based on the precedent of a war, pre-existing wars that had rules. But the men who would be, you know, responsible for the patriarchal structure of work, of like loyalty, don't exist because they're not idiots. So they're never going to do that. So basically, as soon as they go, bang, World War III, uncontrollable global war with no rules, all that's going to happen is a bunch of men are going to go steal a woman and rape the fuck out of her until they get killed. That is it. That is all that will happen. If every fucking man across the world knows for certain that there is no way, you can't win wars against fucking AI-controlled fucking drones and nuclear bombs and cyber warfare and fucking, you know, invasionary fucking societal concepts and all these things. You can't. There's no point doing anything. So actually, there's two. It's not every man's going to do that, but a significant amount of men are going to do that. And then a significant amount are just going to freeze like fucking goats. And then there are going to be brave men, but they're not really brave. They're moronically brave that are going to go and fight an unwinnable war with unwinnable resources. And I guess what I'm doing is I'm trying to defend the arena that would have prevented all of this. The strong, patriarchal, parliamentary arena that is supposed to produce strong, powerful, patriarchal leaders to negotiate on the global fucking scene. Right? The only negotiation globally that needs to be taking place is that we cannot resort to these ridiculous things. We have to uncover the things that we're already doing that have already led to this bullshit that are just unacceptable, because every single one of them, like say the thing I said about you've conditioned women to train their daughters to be fucking whores by them seeing you shopping for men on a phone, right? Because the illusion is, it's like you're at home, you're not having to go out and get dolled up and leaving the kids and all this shit. It's like it's this utopian vision. And then the daughters, see, young children, I don't know if a lot of people remember this. Children aren't adults. They haven't had an adulthood that they're developing the new things out of. They just see what we're doing on an iterary fucking downslope and mimic it. That's it. Unless, of course, there is ridicule coming from either parents or society. So at the moment, for trying to be a political representative and having to play the game, whatever it means, I'm being ridiculed by the children's mother, who is already claiming that she has won out at the fucking pokies. She won at the pokies. She won a very own fucking husband, and he's a great guy. He's a great guy. There's no like, I don't know what the consensus is about this concept. You know what I mean? It's like, in what arena, in what era, in what fucking country, in what class? It's like, well, I don't know, because it doesn't matter anymore. All of that is gone. All of that women, see, this should have been sorted 3 years ago. All the women of the country should have gone and verbally fucking slapped her and said, what the fuck are you doing? But you didn't, because it's all the girls in support of all the girls, no matter what, till death do us part, traveling fucking sisterhood of the traveling pants. And it's like, they just don't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like the thing of like, I don't want to send my son away to war. It's like, you brought your son to war so you could, lure the enemy in. Your son is an accessory to your treason. All of these things just over and over and over again. And we can't have the actual conversation because that would be misogynistic. See, the thing is just like, misogyny is dependent on the environment you're in. If you were living under a patriarchal system where you were provided safe, stable, secure environments like towns, villages, and then inevitably by a hopefully like socially conformist husband who would then provide you with a ring and a household and marriage and children and defense and things like that, right? Because that relies on social cohesion of men, not of women. Women, it's like women demanded it in a way, but not really. It's like women were competing for the men that would provide that. And then the men were collectively presenting their social order, which was defended throughout our parliament, because the parliament was symbolically a representation of men egalitarianly, and non-violently discussing very important things domestically. And a lot of those decisions domestically would project out globally to provide women with more things. So the women that have demanded entrance into that system were sitting on the pillow that was provided by that thing. And they were the ones who had the demand for them to enter. We demand to enter your parliament, right? That wasn't the first demand. Everything that we already had, houses, roofs, roads, bakeries, candle shops, fucking, music, dancing, churches, education, books, libraries, everything was demanded by women and then provided by men, whilst they maintained a social fucking order of egalitarianism, of humility, of passivity. All of that is gone. All of it. Every single bit of it is gone. There is no, because I haven't changed. It's hot here. The clothes I wear, to bring something which is that's normal is, I don't have a lot of options to do the type of thing. It's like, and that's an important factor. and it's uncomfortable. Like I'm hot, I'm sweating, it's yuck. I don't like this. It's like, and I'm not being listened to. And it's like the women collectively look at that fucking faggot fucking dressing as a girl and talking a lot on the internet. He's no UFC fighter, but it's like, well, look what you've done. And then all we need to do is say, what would happen if what has happened to my sport, the sport of parliament and political discourse, what would happen if UFC had the same conditions? It's like, you have to let women fight men. See, that's the thing. This is the fucking thing. Because women will fight men. You have to, like, there's money. There's money involved. You know what I mean? That's the opposite of, like, the Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas is like, I don't know, like probably the thing to explain Leah Thomas, like, she's doing an incredibly difficult thing in changing genders and doing this stuff. And, there's so much rhetoric about, live proud and do all this stuff and own it and do this, live confidently. And so and she just was a swimmer. So she swam against women and then won. It's really like, it should have just been like, they should have just said, you win a different trophy. Yes, you won. And then there's a women's trophy, but it is complicated. And it's the obvious extreme model, but it's like, let's get the white trash fucking drug addicts to fight UFC stars, the women. Let's get white trash drug addict fucking, women to fight the men, and the men have to fight them. They can't not. It's like fight. It's like you have to. So it's like you pull a fucking card of a woman, she's sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking fuck you up, and the women, and it's like next step, the women are allowed to bring knives in. You know what I mean? The women are allowed to have all their boyfriends in the fucking stand, fucking with sniper rifles, and then you got to fight the women. What happens to UFC? It's no longer a symbolic representation of the highest level of male combat, which is what Parliament was. Right? Would you still support it? And it's like, this is what happened to our Parliament. Our Parliament was infested by women, by self-serving women. You cannot be overly self-serving. This will get you killed in Parliament. They all are. They all are self-serving. But you can't collectively self-serve, beyond the fucking thing of the person across the table from you. And there wasn't that much diversity. So it's like the person across the table, yes, they had a radically different opinion. But then you compare that to a terrorist in the Middle East. You were basically fucking twins. And this is the way it was. But it's like you introduce a woman. Well, men don't even truly understand what women are even trying to do. I think in essence, it's like they are not trying to provide order. They are trying to perpetually escape order. When men do this, when men try to escape order, they end up in jail. Women do not. They do not end up in jail. Not anymore. They don't end up shamed or ostracized or fucking destitute. They just hop from man to man. And there is not any awareness of what they like. There's no social fucking code of what women are doing. Women are competing on a level that they've never competed on against. They're not competing to be with a husband who is providing the whole environment with order and stability, and things that are really good. They're just individually fighting for, to be with the fucking guy that's whatever. See, the thing is like you move the trick, you ridicule the politicians, and no one wants to be a politician. Everyone wants to be a fucking look-smaxing fucking UFC fighter. That's subterfuge. That's sabotage of our environment. It's like that, and it's exactly the same. It's like if I start taking hormones, right, and I stow away to a women's book club, right, and I start telling all the men of the world like what women talk about in their book club and what they're doing and what this like. Well, that's what women did to our parliament, and they did it globally. It cannot exist. It's like this. You basically, if you took the moment before, it's like this would have been the worst. Like in the worst case scenario from my culture, this is what we would have expected, is what is existing right now. That, and it's like if you're standing in a court, they're like, oh, you said you were going to stop drinking and driving, and it's like, this is your 10th offense. This is what we'd be dealing with. You said that you were going to stop drinking and driving. This is your 10th offense. You've now stolen a car. You've driven through a fucking fence. You've been caught stealing, all these things. It's like this. That precedent of the objection towards women entering parliament is there. It is there. It should be being brought out right now, and it should be referenced continuously. And this isn't saying I want women to leave politics for good. It's like I want the women to fight women politically and fight them for dear life. And if you aren't, then get the fuck out of there. You should be fighting for all the things that you and you should only be fighting women. And we will protect all those women from all different races from, over fucking ridiculous behavior from any of the men coming from other places that have a vested interest. It is women vote for the woman and men vote for the man. That's it. And then between them both, we have some type of consensus about their interactions. But I'm not ever going to vote from a woman because I have not had sufficient reply or response from any woman responsible for the removal of my freedoms over the last 6 years. Not one. Not one has actually fucking accurately responded at the level that she would have been intended to, or like she would have been expected to, under the code of gentlemanly behavior, because they're not gentlemen, they're banshees. See, our parliament was built with gentleman ethics. That does half the work before you even get in the room. Oh, gentleman ethics. Okay. Then you're having a gentlemanly discussion. You cannot take people from the fucking middle of the fucking bush and drag them in to have a gentlemanly conversation. So you need to reinforce the fact that people from those things are supposed to elect someone who aligns with their thing, and that's the whole political process. And I would argue it's the same. It's like women are not gentlemen, so they cannot have a gentlemanly discussion. They resort to things that lower the entire thing, the whole concept down to ridiculousness, down to like it, just absolutely ridiculous. Now there was a place. There was like cultural methods, like theatre and comedy and literature and even religion and all these things. Like those were arenas that you could battle in, but it's like politics and parliament. No, you can't, because like there should be a code. Basically, it's like before you enter, you agree to participate, and there is a code. It's just that women don't understand the code and they're not held to account on it. If I had to sit there and say, who would I charge collectively for the crimes against myself and my family? I'll collectively charge all women of the country. You are all guilty. All of you. You have participated in genocide of your men. Of complete sabotage of our civil society. Provably. At every metric, at every fucking point, you do not get to move the entire container. Oh, that's just normal now. Yeah, all the girls they're all just prostitutes now. That's normal. No, fuck off. 40 years ago, that shit would get you fucking put in prison or get you, a lobotomy or get you permanently diagnosed with a mental illness. You can't move the whole fucking container while you're still selling the fucking drugs, while you still got the people in prison that are women. The demand for my mother to be imprisoned was from women. This is the problem. It wasn't for men. Men would have loved it. My mum being a promiscuous, like, attractive woman. Oh, wow, God. I bet men hated that. No, it was women that hated it. And you just collectively just keep moving the fucking container and saying, this is the new normal. This is liberation. This is women's fucking liberty. Look how great it is. It's just the trajectory. It's like, I reckon women would be fucking sitting on their little cushions when they're fucking on their dating apps and their fucking OnlyFans, cashing their checks. They'd sit there and watch 80% of the men be decimated. You know what I mean? And it's like the ultimate thing. It's like then they're reliant on these online dating apps of the enemy. So they're dating the enemy and sending their children and husbands away to be killed. No matter, and it's like, even reverse it. Reverse it now so that it's like we're doing it. Imagine we're doing it to China. Imagine I have 10 Chinese OnlyFans girls that I'm putting through fucking college. And I'm just like, I can't wait to get my Chinese harem at the end of this war. You know, and then I'm training to be a fighter pilot and drop bombs or something. It's like, it's all stupid. Because the chances are, it's like, there's no going back. There's no going back to the thing. It's like you're then going to be stuck with men who obviously don't respect the fucking order of anything. They don't respect the order of the political world or the gentleman's world or anything like that. They're just pretending that they do while killing your children and your fucking husbands. And then they're obviously just going to fucking enslave you. And it's like, so any woman, if you're sitting there as a woman training your fucking daughter or your son to be a fucking online prostitute, okay, in a global war, it's like, and you think you're going to land on your feet, it's like you will land in the house of a barbarian fucking conqueror who will then kill you and then just rape your fucking children that you prepared to be raped. You know what I mean? It's like, this is some fucked up shit. Like, this is 40 fuck. No, it's not 40 years. What would it be? Yeah, 40 years. This is 40 fucking years of moving the container and calling it normal. 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 New normal. This is the new fucking normal. You just don't like to see women having a win. This is literally quote from my sister. You just don't want to see women having a win. And it's like, women have been having a win. Our entire civilizational history, my culture, women have been winning compared to men. But they don't compare themselves to men. They compare themselves constantly because this is the progression. It's like, I'm growing as a human. I'm growing, I'm progressing as a person. And you're all collectively doing this, right? And sitting on a fluffy cushion and selling fucking pictures of your asshole to the world and making bank with it. As long as you don't focus on the fucking absolute societal degradation, you've progressed. And this is the thing, it's like, this is the same trend as if I'm like, do you know, I found out people leave valuables in their house and then they go to work. And I found out if I just stroll down, keep a record of who's at home and who's not at home, and then I go in their window and take their valuables, I progressively am getting wealthier. I'm getting exercise. I'm getting all these skills that I didn't have. I'm getting, like, I can also peruse everyone's internal decoration styles and interior design. So, like, when I accumulate enough funds from breaking and entering people's houses, I can then, you know, I'm in a really good position. I love my progress, my personal progress. This is also going on. I'm just not doing it. Because while the women are doing all this progressing, right, their sons are mirroring them as well, but the marketplace for fucking delinquent fucking teenage children is just not the same as delinquent teenage girls. So the girls are out there whoring the world and the boys are out there breaking and entering into houses. And the fathers are in jail. The fathers are in jail, and in the most extreme cases, the fathers are in jail for putting up a political opposition at the highest level and at the most symbolic level of our pre-existing culture, of my pre-existing culture. I can at any point skip all of the steps of my societal thing. And if you want to find out when I'll do that, it's like, if somebody broke into the house I was in, I'm going to skip all of the political thing, all of the societal, everything, because that's what's happened to me. And I'm going to play with his blood as I drain it from his body. You're already there. Your delinquent fucking children have no defense or no chance in hell against someone like me. I'm going to kill them if they fucking enter my property. Because I do not trust the fucking system of decline. Right? This is what happens. And if you are a woman that has been doing this, shifting the fences of societal norms, right? Not regulating the behavior of your children, it inevitably gets to one thing. It's like men start playing women and killing young men. Inevitably, because that is what the women are doing. The women are collectively moving their fucking thing, moving their container, which is leading to the deaths of young women. That is what happens. Women are acting like men and killing young women, and men are acting like women and killing young men. Cause and effect. There is no action without an opposite and equal reaction. I now feel like I'm that guy on the Matrix. It's like, this is where we're at. We need to divide it. The world needs to see what a Western political process looks like with purely women. We don't have that. We haven't seen that. In its full intensity, no protection, no social eggshells to stand on with men in the room, or vice versa with women in the room. So this is all this hate speech, all these things. This is women protecting the rights that they don't want to counteract that level of speech, despite them ushering us into the arena and into the societal results that require that level of speech to bring us out of it. So that's where you leave, honey. If it's too hot in the fucking kitchen, then get the fuck out of the kitchen. You don't change the fucking rules of the kitchen. And this applies across the thing. And it's like, let's just wait to see what the women say to each other when it's only women. It's only women in that fucking thing. I don't even care if you make it so that men can never see it, but I want the women to see it. I want every little girl to see what cunts are representing them in the fucking parliament. You know what I mean? I want to see every little girl to understand which fucking banshee fucking whores are destroying their social order for fucking, the cash in hand. And this is the thing. It's like, these are the accusations that men would be having with each other. Historically accurate fucking precedent of heated discussions, parliamentary discussions that men would be having if it was just men. But the women are being shielded purposefully by our enemies to do this. Like, cunts better get good at fucking, ripping to shreds other cunts. And then the men, basically, if you're in there, you're probably not sufficiently fucking skilled to actually do what's coming down the fucking line at you. You are absolutely fucking criminals. You are sitting protected in a fucking system of radical decline. Unprepared, unskilled, wrong things. Like, you're leaning on all the your associations and connections and distribute, all these things. It's like, it's all muddled. You know what I mean? And we're just going to bring a fucking bookload of precedent. Look what types of social decline you have ushered in. Why? Why unchecked? Why have you then put your political opposition in prison? No, not Nelson Mandela, not in the middle of fucking Africa, in a multi-racial colonial thing. It's like, we're all on the same colonial fucking ship. Why have you mutinied this ship? in other words. There's some heavy accusations and heavy charges and heavy, penalties for mutiny. That's what it is. The women have an excuse. They have absolutely no fucking, no right to be there. They should never have been there. The men, they have no excuse. Absolutely none. If you have participated in this fucking mutiny that has led to this situation, it's like you are a criminal and you should fucking act accordingly and you should start defending yourself accordingly like a criminal. If you want to get lawyers, get fucking lawyers, get all of it. You need to declare. It's like every moment I do this and you do not declare that you are participating in criminal action, in a criminal mutiny against the structure of this country, against the order of this nation, you are a criminal. On the run. You're a fugitive on the run. But you're already in the building. You have no escape. You either disappear or you start, responding to the accusations. That's it. I don't have the rights. I didn't have the right to fucking question a police officer while being put in the back of a paddy wagon. You don't have the right to fucking avoid this conflict. You must answer these accusations at all levels of parliament, all the way from Western Australia to Tasmania to the federal government of Australia, all the way to the House of Lords in fucking Westminster. You must answer these accusations. This is not acceptable and would be absolutely questioned at all levels of parliament, except this momentary little flirtation with gender fluidity. Our parliament is not a gender fluid environment. Neither was the women's, nationals swimming competition. We know that now for certain. We know that Leah Thomas, should be respected as a courageous representative of the trans community, but shouldn't have been awarded a female fucking trophy at the women's national swimming things. And now we know that women should be respected in their equality and their skills that they bring to the table, but they should not be in the arena of our political system in its current manifestation nor its previous manifestation. If they wish to participate at a high level, they need to create their own parliament. It needs to be built solely with the labour of women. It needs to be financed solely with the finances of women. It needs to be created in the image of women's conflict, not in unisex conflict, not in the conflict of women onto men, because we've already seen the most extreme result of that. Women will automate a button that they will continuously press that dispatches any man that they have not brought into their submission. Even if they can't see them, hear them, or fucking have no care, they will keep pressing the kill button. Kill, 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 kill him, 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 kill him. And we're in the middle of a war that revolves, there will be a button. There will be a button. There will be bombs. There will be things. And we've already proven that women can't deal with that button without pressing it repeatedly. Kill, 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 kill. I don't even fucking care. I hope that cunt dies in his fucking sleep. And this is the absolute declaration. I spent fucking 10 years with that woman, absolutely terrified that she was going to stab me to death in my fucking sleep because she would say that. And you gave her a button. You gave her a button and you let her just press it. That's what women collectively did. That is the fucking crimes against humanity that the Australian women, all of you, from my very own fucking daughter all the way to the Governor General, every single one of you is illegitimately fucking having any influence over this thing. And it's like, I ask you in this state of amplified tensions and warfare to all leave and make me some fucking cupcakes and some fairy bread so that we can have enough energy to perhaps wield this fucking world back into fucking order, back into submission. That's it. Thank you.